Hi, everybody. I'm Samantha Calamaris with App Properties, and today I'm excited to interview not only a friend of mine, but another community member with the Flames. And so I wanted to introduce Regina Hope. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for interviewing me on behalf of the Flames.
Yay, good. All right, so let's just get going. So tell me a little bit about yourself and your family and what your connection is to Flames.
First, the Flames is just such an important program to our family. I think number one, because I'm actually a Lake Zurich native. I was born and raised in Lake Zurich, went through all the different schools, graduated in '96, and obviously went to college and grad school, and was fortunate enough to, when I got my first job is when Spencer Loomis opened. I'm a social worker in the Lake Zurich School District. So was fortunate enough to kind of bring my family back to Lake Zurich. And so when we kind of started a family and I ended up having 3 boys and knowing that the Flames was such a reputable program in the community, that was definitely something that we wanted to get them involved in. So our oldest started in the flag program. He is now 12 years old. So he started when he was in first grade. And now he's, like I said, he's in 6th grade. He's been in tackle for a couple years now. And then we also have a 3rd grade son who is just finished his first year of tackle. And we also have a kindergarten son who just did his first year of flag. So having 3 boys in the program, obviously as a parent, in knowing how much this program has meant to us, we definitely wanted to give back. So after, first you kind of get involved in small ways because it's a completely volunteer run program. So I started as like team manager for a couple years. My husband has coached since the beginning. And after a couple years of being involved in that, I knew that I really wanted to be on the board because this is just a program that you want to see grow and flourish and just make sure everybody in the community knows about it and has the opportunity to participate if they want. So I've been on the board now. This is my 3rd year, and it's my 2nd year as the director of communication. And it has just been amazing to be part of this program, to grow it. And my husband is actually also on the board. So this is his first year or joining us on the board. So our family is all in. Couldn't be more happy than to support the program this way.
Yeah, that's for sure. You can't even communicate or see you during the football season. That's for sure. I know.
You want to find me, you want to hang out with me, come to Knox.
Right. So one thing I want to make clear is that Flames is football, but it's not just football, it's also cheerleading, right? So you have boys and girls that are actively involved in it. So let's talk a little bit about who participates in Flames and how Flames got started in general.
Yeah, actually, because we're a non-for-profit program, it was started in 1974 by volunteer firemen. So obviously, as it has grown, the cheer program has come to be. The cheer program has grown. It's huge. So right now, our program it's one of the largest.
What age groups? Like when do they start? And it goes through junior high, right? And then they're done after junior high.
So every level is a little different, but essentially anyone from kindergarten through 8th grade can participate. So when we were looking at like the program or the football program side of it, we do have a flag program, which is can go kindergarten through 2nd grade. So it's primarily 5, 6, 7-year-olds. Our tackle program, you actually can start tackle in 1st grade. A lot of our players start more in the 2nd or 3rd grade level, and then that goes through 8th grade as well. And then on the cheer side of it, we have a K1 program that they're so cute. They cheer at all of the flag games. And then we also have a game, 2nd through 8th grade game level for cheer. And then we also have rec and super rec as well. One of the great things about it too is that it is a no-cut sport. So all of football is no-cut. So anybody and everybody can participate. For cheer, the only level that is a tryout team is the super rec team, which is our 6th through 8th graders. So Yeah, pretty much any school age through middle school child can participate. And both cheer and football are both co-ed. So we don't really like to say only boys can play football, because we actually do have some girls in our football program, and cheer is co-ed as well.
That's great. Okay, so let's talk about something that's important to most parents. How do you discuss with parents any sort of safety concerns when they're considering putting their child in football?
Right. So that's big right now. Obviously, we don't want to ignore that. We want to address that head on, because the reality is that I think parents are concerned because they hear a lot in the media, and sometimes they only get like the media's viewpoint of it. So, if a parent is concerned, we definitely want to be able to answer those questions, and we like answering that because there is a lot we do for throughout our program to address those concerns. So we really take like a multi-level approach to this. One of the biggest things is our equipment. All of our helmets are Rydell Superflex helmets. Those are the same helmets you're going to see from college and professional athletes. Those are looked at every single year to make sure that there aren't cracks in them and that they're ready to be used again in the safest way possible. All of our coaches go through certification every year through USA Football. So they have to go through like instruction and training from everything on proper technique in terms of like blocking. They go through proper equipment fitting. They go through hydration and concussion awareness. So our coaches, before they can even step on a field, have to be certified.
That's great. That's great to hear. I think
Yes.
that's one of the biggest concerns that you'll hear from parents, and it's nice to know that you guys are taking those precautions and making sure that people feel comfortable with it if they want to get involved.
Right. The only other thing I want to mention about that too, just because we want to be as transparent as possible, is for the last couple of years, we've done something called the town hall meeting. So we invite parents who maybe have those questions or concerns to this meeting, and we partnered with a sports neurologist, Dr. Eric Beltran. So he comes and he really can give his professional insight on concussion awareness, prevention, management, and really just try to reassure parents that the risks don't really outweigh the benefits when it comes to youth sports, especially youth football. So this year, obviously, with everything going on, it's going to be difficult to maybe have that in-person town hall meeting, but we are looking for other ways, maybe virtually, to provide that information to our community.
Sure. That's great that you guys do that. So one question that I have as a parent, you want to know what activities your kids are doing and how active they're going to be. How many days a week are they practicing? Where do they practice? Does a parent have to stay there during practice? Those type of questions.
Right. So again, it kind of varies depending on the program. So we'll kind of run through it a little bit just so, any parent watching can kind of get an idea of the expectation. In terms of our flag program, that's pretty set. That's Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5:30 to 7. Those are the practice. Parents can stay, parents can drop off. We usually have like a handful of coaches per each team. So we definitely have a lot of adult supervision. And then the games are on Sunday mornings for an hour at Knox. So that's pretty much the commitment for our flag program. For tackle, it is typically 3 hours, 3 days a week once the fall starts. Really, though, I should back up a little bit because our season kind of does begin at the end of July. And we start with conditioning, and that'll be every day. We go through a lot of skills and drills and things like that. And then once school starts is when we kind of do our more set practice schedule. So tackle is typically 3 days a week, a game on the weekend. We don't always know if it's going to be Saturday or Sunday, so we kind of have to be patient because it's really the TCYFL that kind of sets the schedule. So that's kind of the commitment for tackle.
And what about cheerleading? Do you have
and
any?
then cheer's a little depending on level 2, because obviously you expect different things from a kindergartner than you would from an 8th grader. So our K1 program, they practice 1 time a week, and like I said earlier, they cheer at the flag games. Our 2nd through 8th grade game team, they practice once a week for about 90 minutes, and then they kind of vary among the different tackle games that they might cheer at. And then our super rec team, so those are competitive teams. So there's obviously a lot more commitment and involvement. They practice twice a week for an hour and a half. And then their focus is really like when the competition season starts.
Right.
So
Which
it's
can
a little
be
different.
a little more intense, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just saying, as they get older, there's more expected of them, and more responsibility and commitment.
Sure. Good. Okay, so one of my favorite parts I like to talk about, because I have a lot of friends that are involved in Flames on the cheerleading side and football, is tell me what the parents, what their part is in Flames and why it's so important, because they're basically like the strength behind the organization. And what do they
Right.
do and how active do they have to be?
Well, like I said before, we are completely 100% volunteer run. So if it wasn't for the parents stepping up and being part of it, we wouldn't have a program. So talk about how important our families and our parents are. It is the backbone of our program. But there are a million and one ways that parents can get involved. Obviously, our coaches are volunteers. Our board is volunteers. Any type of game day help, from concessions to down marker to field marshal. On the cheer side, there's practice space finder and uniforms, and a bunch of different ways that parents can get involved. And I think everybody wants to know how to help and wants to be involved because they see how important it is to their kids. And I think, there's this realization that if we don't step up, then, if we don't have down markers and chains for game, we might have
to happen. Right.
So it is huge. And the more that my family got involved, the more you just kind of you want to dig in a little deeper, because it's such a special feeling to see how much it means to your kids and how much it means to the families. Maybe people have seen in some of the social media posts and things like that, we have this thing called #FlamesFamily, because I really think as a whole program, we kind of feel like we are in it together. And what's cool, and I've said this before too, a lot of my friends have daughters who are involved in the cheer program. So it's just really cool when we can all say we are Flames. We are in Flames together, whether you have girls, whether you have a kindergartner and I have a 6th grader. We are this one big Flames family. So
yeah. That is nice. And I was talking to Mary Beth Euchre with cricket a couple days ago, and she mentioned Flames. And one thing that I thought she talked about that is relevant here also is the amount of parents from different elementary schools that are going to have connections before their kids are in middle school together is great, because a lot of these parents you would never know or never meet them unless you were involved in an organization like this.
Absolutely. And I'll just share this little tidbit too. My family just moved actually into Lake Zurich School District, I should say, a year ago. So we were in Hawthorne Woods, but we just ended up being part of the Fremont School District. But my kids have, like I said, been participating in Flames for the last 6 years now. And so making that move and making that transition into the Lake Zurich schools, knowing how many friends my sons already had from football, was probably the biggest stress reliever, and not having to worry about the social relationships and who are they going to know. And it was one of the reasons we moved was really because of all the connections we made from Flames.
Good. Well, I hope you had a good realtor.
We did. I would highly recommend it to anyone.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. Why don't you tell me how people can find you? What's your website? And most importantly, I know it might be different this year because we don't know where we're going to be in the next couple of months, but how do kids sign up? How do parents sign up? And are you guys doing anything differently where when we're dealing with the coronavirus, anything that might be different for sign up this year?
Yeah, so we are in open registration right now. You can go to lzflames.org. I mean, even if you just want to check out program information, go to our site. But you can definitely register right through that site on the homepage right there. I would say, right now, one thing is I don't know how other sports are necessarily doing it, but you can actually register right now and pay later. So there's an option to pay offline. So what's great about that for us is that we are still actively taking in registrations then and getting a sense of our numbers, which is really important for us to like plan for teams, knowing how many
coaches
to order, right, everything like that. So if you're even thinking about, you know, coming back again or interested, but you are a little hesitant about what's going to happen, I would say still register and choose to play offline, and you can pay at a later date. You know, we're obviously all like kind of on the edge of our seat waiting to see like where things are going to end up here. Obviously, if we run into a situation where our season is shortened or postponed or season doesn't happen, we will do everything in our power to make sure that families get either prorated or reimbursed, you know, to the degree necessary. Like I said, right now, we just want to make sure that we kind of have an idea of like what kind of a program, you know, we're going to look like in terms of numbers. Obviously, taking all the financial concerns in mind, we want to also reassure families that, you know, should things be cut short or anything like that, we will take care of what we need to.
Good. Well, in closing, I want to tell you that well, I'm not actively involved in the Flames because my kids do some different things. I do love seeing the social events that you guys do. You guys have charity events.
Yeah.
You do a lot of things where the parents can be active for fundraising purposes. It's really nice to see. I think you guys do a great job. So I'm excited that we got to talk, and thank you for your time, Regina.
Yeah,
Okay,
no
do you have,
problem.
what's the email for you guys to?
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say that too. So a couple of things. If you just have any general questions or want to reach out, they can definitely do questions@lzflames.org. If anybody wants, just as a mom, you know, has questions or anything like that, if they want to email me personally, mine is Regina Hope @lzflames.org. So, and that being the communications director, I field questions all the time. So I don't want anybody to hesitate to reach out to me personally.
Good. Well, thank you for your time, Regina. Have a great day, okay?
Thank you. You
Thanks.
too.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sorry.